Hey everybody, Thursday, July 10th, 2025. Welcome back to the show. James Rule XRP. Follow me on X at Rule XRP. I'm a crypto teacher. I'm not a financial advisor. I'll tell you what, my dad just bought a pontoon boat yesterday and he called me and showed me some pictures. I'm headed up to the lake later. We're going to ride on the pontoon boat. I'm going to take a bunch of pictures. We might do a little fishing. I'm so excited, but I'm really excited about this video today because I have some clips from yesterday's Senate hearing. Brad Garlinghouse was in attendance talking about crypto legislation, and I have a bunch of clips on that, so stay tuned. And we're going to have fun. So yesterday I made up some business cards. People here locally, when I go to a supermarket, restaurant, or wherever, they're like, do you have a business card? Well, yesterday I made up some James Rule XRP business cards with my credentials. And here is the QR code to my link tree. You could scan it and it will bring you to my link tree, which has all of my socials, all of my affiliates, all my sponsors. And check it out and break it down. If you sign up for any of them, they're free to sign up. Let's take a look at numbers. CoinPaprika.com, man, $3.5 trillion market cap. People are saying that Bitcoin hit its all-time high yesterday. Right now we're to 111,000 for Bitcoin. We're $2,776 for Ethereum. We are $2.45 XRP. There was a lot of news that came out yesterday. There's a lot of excitement in the market. We're seeing some price action. You know, get excited. Don't be surprised if we get a little bit of pullback here or there or whatever. So I want to show you a clip here. I started my YouTube channel back in 2020, and I had a cheap ass MacBook. I didn't have a good microphone. You know, I got out there, I started it 5 years ago. I made this video saying the XRP price is down, stocks are down. What do I do now? Well, XRP was 18 cents, almost 19 cents during one of my first videos in 2020. And I want to show you a piece of this clip here.
XRP here.
And if we go through it here, I got it in the wrong spot here, but if we go back here, let me see, where's it at? We're talking about the price of XRP. We're talking about, you know, 5 for $1 and all that good stuff. Let's see, where is it at? It's right here. Check it out. And like I said, it's cheesy. I was just getting started.
XRP's high was around 387, I believe. We're at 18 cents.
18 cents.
But at the end of 2017, when it hit that 387, we were nowhere near where we are today with all the customers, all the banks, all the use cases. So it's just a matter of time. It's going to take a while, but when you look at it,
yeah, it's going to take a while. You know, I made this video before the SEC sued Ripple and the XRP community and all, and it was 18 cents, people. It's 5 for $1. When I was working at one of the local plants, I said, hey, look, guys, this is a new technology. It's 5 for $1. And they all laughed at me. They're like, I don't want that cheap crap. I have stocks. I have, 401ks and all this stuff. And today you're looking at a 244 XRP and people are going, okay, James, I remember when it was 5 for $1. I know it's been over $2 now. Where can I get it? Am I too late to buy it? Can I get it now? Can I get it now? And I'm like, yeah, I told you so. You can get all you want, baby. Get all you want. $2.44. So it was June 23rd, 2023. XRP was 49 cents. And I said I need the decimal to move 1 or 3 places to the right. 49 cents. I mean, we held the 50-cent XRP from 2020 all the way through November of 2024, and we were up and down and up and down and up and down, and we're finally starting to see some price action. Okay, Brad Garlinghouse posted this after the Senate Banking Committee hearing yesterday. He says, thank you, Senator Tim Scott and the entire Senate Banking Committee for hosting its first hearing on comprehensive crypto market structure legislation today. And a refreshing change from the rhetoric of the Gensler years, every senator affirmed that crypto technology is here to stay and deserves rules of the road. The legislative process is rarely simple, but we're past the starting line, and that in and of itself is a major step that gives me hope that the U.S. can make up for lost ground. Brad was there. And Brad spoke. And we're going to look at a couple of clips here. Hang in there because there's a couple of clips to cover. And there is a clip from one of the individuals that they threw in there on the panel. And you're going to see, you probably saw it yesterday, and you're going to see Senator Kennedy bashing his ass. And we all got to laugh and wait till you see the look on Brad Garlinghouse's face. But right here, Subjective Views posted this little clip here. It says, Ripple has consistently prioritized regulatory compliance. That's how you achieve 60 licenses worldwide to operate within legal and regulatory frameworks. Brad Garlinghouse, check it out.
Mr. Garlinghouse, I'd like to just kind of turn to you. I mean, I just wanted to just get your thoughts on this. I mean, do you acknowledge what Mr. Levin's saying in terms of the illicit actors, the bad actors being able to utilize crypto right now? And, you know, I certainly appreciate the efforts that your company has made in terms of AML, but you know, we're still seeing these problems. Is that something that you see and recognize as well?
Ripple has always been a compliance-first company, and as I said in my early testimony, we have over 60 licenses around the world. That being said, I think anytime you see bad actors, they're looking for, as Mr. Levin said, whatever the easiest path is. They use cash, they use other assets. I've even read about them using gold.
Yeah.
So certainly, they're also experimenting and trying to use digital assets. I think the good news has been, in many cases, they don't often understand how traceable and trackable that actually is, and it's more trackable than, obviously, cash.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, the blockchain, your XRP wallet, your Bitcoin wallet, your Ethereum wallet, it is 100% traceable. Somebody could get your wallet address. They can go in and look at the historical data where your crypto went from one wallet to the other. So, you know, Elizabeth Warren and all the goons in Senate or whatever are saying, you know, crypto is bad now, you know, criminal activity. And they don't realize that blockchain is more traceable than bags of money or bags of money from the banks under the table to Elizabeth Warren and other people. Think about that. Maybe that's why she don't want blockchain. Okay, so Senator Bill Hagerty from Tennessee, he is a strong crypto supporter. I took this clip this morning. He questions Summer Mersinger. Summer used to be a commissioner for the CFTC. She is now the CEO of the Blockchain Association. And as you know, Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO of Ripple. And Senator Hagerty questions them on establishing regulatory authorities of the CFTC and the SEC and establishing a regulatory framework for digital asset arena. Have a listen. It's a 4-minute clip, but it's full of goodies, baby.
Ms. Mersinger, I'd like to turn to you. And here I'd like to talk about the jurisdiction with the CFTC and the SEC, an area that you know a great deal about. And we're trying to delineate and establish the appropriate regulatory authorities between the two agencies, the CFTC and the SEC. And I'd just like for you to explain to my colleagues and for this audience today why it's so important that we ensure jurisdictional harmony between these organizations.
Thank you for that question. To your point about regulation to enforcement, when the only regulatory actions that are occurring are lawsuits and legal settlements, there's no clarity, and you have a situation where those who want to follow the law and do the right thing, one, are worried to innovate here in the United States, but they also are not sure where to go to follow the rules. Mm-hmm. And so we have to have clarity around what is the right regulator and who is overseeing these markets. And from my experience in the CFTC, one of the things I'll point out is the CFTC has broad anti-manipulation and anti-fraud enforcement authority over commodity spot markets, but they do not have regulatory jurisdiction over those same markets. So the CFTC could only come in after fraud or manipulation had occurred. There was no regulatory oversight. So providing that regulatory framework so that you have a regulator overseeing these activities will help prevent regulation through enforcement, because you will have the examiners, you will have the regulators looking at these businesses and ensuring that they're following the laws and the regulations, rather than having to come in after something bad has happened and bring enforcement cases.
Got it. Thank you. Mr. Garlinghouse, I'm going to turn to you with a related question. We're trying to calibrate an appropriate regulatory framework here for the digital assets arena. One of the concerns I have is rather than engaging with technologists, with people in the industry who are actually at the cutting edge of innovation, lawmakers, regulators could actually try to force the digital assets markets into outdated regulatory frameworks. I think that would stifle innovation, that would put us at a great disadvantage. And as we think about it, there are certain factors that are unique to the digital assets ecosystem. And what factors would you emphasize that we focus on as we think about an appropriate regulatory framework moving forward?
Thank you, Senator. I think there are unique aspects that need to be thoughtful and applied potentially uniquely to any legislation around this. That said, I do think that where Mr. Massad and I disagree is that depending upon an SEC and CFTC to work together assumes good faith appointed officials in doing that. What we have seen previously is the SEC actually sowed confusion in the marketplace. They took contradictory positions. Under Chairman Gensler, they took actually contradictory positions in different court cases, which actually created more confusion. Yep. And so you had federal judges saying things like the SEC was being arbitrary and capricious in their application of the law. You had judges, federal judges saying that they were not following a, quote, faithful allegiance to the law. And so my concern in depending upon a unelected appointee to make those decisions is that it assumes a good faith actor. And I think what we saw in this most recent SEC was just a war against the industry at large without a consistent application of that law.
Well, I think we need to put in place a sufficient framework so that we don't have to rely on the goodwill of a particular regulator, but that it's clear to them our intentions. So thank you all. Appreciate the entire panel being.
There you go. The one and only Brad Garlinghouse getting it out there. You know, regulatory clarity, regulation by enforcement is pretty much done for. You know, so many amazing things, so many senators like Haggerty here. If you go to, let's see, if we go to standwithcrypto.com or .org, standwithcrypto.org, Bill Haggerty is a Republican senator from Tennessee. He strongly supports crypto. Notable statements: the Genius Act, SJ Resolution 3, SAB 121. Very pro-crypto, and it gives the history of speeches and things he was talking about, trying to get regulatory clarity. And we keep going here. So anyway, Mr. Kennedy from Louisiana had a comment to say to one of these individuals that I'm sure Elizabeth Warren threw him out there so you could get all the negativity in this conference or whatever happened. But have a quick listen to this and watch Brad Garlinghouse's face at the end of this clip. Hang on, people.
Why do you think the crypto industry is buying Senator Gillibrand?
I said, look at the campaign contributions from this industry.
Do you think they bought her?
No, I said, look at the campaign contributions.
You said they bought her. Do you think they bought her?
Senator, you need to focus on this bill instead of trying to distort my Twitter.
Last time, one of my
you
colleagues
were quoting
crook,
what a Marxist in Chicago said about
And what evidence do you have that she's a crook?
I said there is massive amount of campaign contributions coming into this Congress from the crypto industry.
Do you want to apologize to Senator Gillibrand?
I do not want you to have to apologize for passing legislation
do you want to
that
apologize
destroys
to
our
Senator
economy.
Gillibrand for calling
You are distorting what I said, just like you did in the last hearing. You're wasting everybody's time, Senator.
You're a whack job.
Senator,
you are wasting.
Well, I think we are
next level whack job.
I think we are.
Is this middle school, Senator?
Senators and witness. Thank you both.
I think you should apologize, Senator.
I think, Senator, you're wasting our time. This is not middle school.
Thank you for your participation. I will say that Senator Smith is next. The floor is yours.
Look at Garlinghouse. Just and Stu Alderati's sitting back here chilling, trying to keep his composure. But man, you know, these Fruit Loops they put on these panels, and just for him, I mean, Kennedy is the shit. I love Kennedy because he tells it like it is. He don't give a damn what anybody thinks. But yeah, Brad Garlinghouse couldn't keep his composure. But like I said, Stu's back there going, "Hey, we good. I'm going to keep my composure here. So Smoke at SMQKEDQG was in the room. And this is awesome. He was actually, or whoever Smoke is, was actually there. Check it out.
Financial technology is made in America. Let's seize this opportunity together and deliver clarity, consistency, and leadership the American people deserve. Thank you for
There's proof that Smoke was there. Okay, one more here. I met Juan in Las Vegas, and he is an amazing photographer. He photographed a lot of the XRP Las Vegas conference, and check this out. He had the opportunity to take photos of Brad Garlinghouse and Stu Alderati, and they're awesome. He said he goes at one XRPIX, XRPix. Thank you again for the opportunity and allowing me to create this portrait. With all due respect, I have registered and would like to kindly request that Brad Garlinghouse and Stu Alderati consider me as one of the photographers to capture and cover Ripple Swell 2025 in New York. Here's Brad Garlinghouse. Really good photo. Really good photo. If we go to the next one, you got Stu Alderati looking sharp. And then you have both of them here looking sharp as can be. Congratulations, Juan, on getting those awesome photos and just being a part of the community and getting some, once in a lifetime shots of, history in the making. We're history in the making. And when I went to Las Vegas, I met so many amazing people, so many other content creators, so many just families and people of this community that just are excited to be a part of all of these different ecosystems. Man, I'm ready to go to the lake and ride on that pontoon boat, baby. I can't wait. Be sure to subscribe to the James Rule Crypto Show. We will see you on the flip side. And guess what? I told you so.